Hey, what's going on? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. Thank you for stopping by the State of the NFL podcast. I ask that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This is a channel where we talk about some of the hottest topics in all of the NFL. Hey, what's going on, sports fans? My name is TJ Jones. Welcome to another edition of the State of the NFL podcast. It's where we talk about some of the hottest topics in all of the National Football League. And before we get started, I ask that you hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel to grow. I would really appreciate that. On this edition, we're going to be talking about quarterback Shedeur Sanders, and he will be starting the very first game of preseason for the Cleveland Browns against the Carolina Panthers on this Friday. You know, Shedeur Sanders was drafted in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns back in April in this past draft, and so many people have opinions about Shedeur Sanders. On one hand, people feel like he deserved the 5th round grade that he got that led him to that point. There are others that felt like maybe he carried himself too arrogant, and not knowing that maybe teams felt like there was some chinks in the armor. And then there are others that feel like, well, maybe because of who his dad is and the way that his dad carries himself, it was a way for the NFL to teach Shedeur Sanders a lesson by making him fall to a day 3 pick. But look, the reality is Shedeur Sanders is a talented quarterback. He has the tools to be a successful quarterback in the National Football League. You know, he was an extremely accurate quarterback in college, and you can talk about who his father is and who he's affiliated with, but his father wasn't out there throwing that football. He was the one out there throwing the football. Now, you can make an argument that they were a pass-heavy offense, but he still had to deliver the ball where it needed to be. Shedeur Sanders has the tools to be a starting quarterback in the league. There's been talk going around about Shedeur Sanders and, the Browns ownership front office saying that they didn't necessarily feel like they actually needed Shedeur Sanders. We know Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, basically said he was shocked that the team ended up drafting Shedeur Sanders, but he left it to Andrew Berry, the general manager of the team, Kevin Stefanski. Those guys, he feels like they're more qualified to select players than he is. To me, that was pretty much him basically walking away from the situation. But I just hope that he don't try to moonwalk like Michael Jackson at the 25th Motown anniversary back in the 80s. Hope he don't do that if Shedeur Sanders end up being what he needs to be. And to be honest with you, this is the reason why the Cleveland Browns have been an inept football team for I don't know how long. When you have something like this falls into your lap, you should be able to take advantage of it. This would be a great opportunity for Cleveland Brown football to be put on the map because everybody wants to see what Shedeur Sanders is going to do. I guarantee you the Cleveland Browns Carolina Panthers game will be the most watched preseason game of the weekend. Why? Because everybody wants to see Shedeur Sanders play. And I guarantee you, if the Cleveland Browns were to do the right thing and allow this guy to get a fair shake in a quarterback competition, who knows? People will probably want to see the Cleveland Browns more than any other team because of Shedeur Sanders' popularity. Now, I'm not saying just on that alone, he should be the starting quarterback. I'm saying look at your depth chart. You got Joe Flacco, who's about 38 years old, former Super Bowl MVP, but his best days of football are behind him. He's pretty much a bridge quarterback at best, a guy that is going to hold down the fort for you until you actually find a guy that is going to be your franchise quarterback. You got Kenny Pickett, who was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are a team that is extremely patient when it comes to their draft picks. They select guys, they ride with those guys. I have never seen the Pittsburgh Steelers give up on a player so fast in my entire life when it comes to Kenny Pickett. I'm not going to take the low-hanging fruit and talk about the man hand size and all that kind of stuff. Look, I don't care if you got big old Frankenstein hands or you got baby hands. If you can play quarterback, nobody will care, all right? But he has left a lot to be desired, and he has not lived up to that first-round tag when the Steelers drafted him a couple of years ago. He comes to the Cleveland Browns. I don't see them cutting him because they made a commitment to him, but I don't think he's the starting quarterback of the future. Then Dylan Gabriel. look, he was a guy that found a lot of success at Oregon. He played really well at the University of Oregon, but there's levels to this. I'm concerned about the size. I'm concerned about some of the mechanics. Like, is he going to be that franchise quarterback? I don't know. I think that Dylan Gabriel could be a solid backup quarterback, a journeyman backup quarterback in the league. But I don't see starting quarterback. But I do see starting quarterback when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. And people were really concerned about Shedeur Sanders. They thought the circus was going to be in town and everybody was just going to show up. This guy has been a model citizen. He has ingratiated himself into the Cleveland culture. He's been talking with kids. He has been doing what rookies do, earning his keep. So I just think on that alone, people need to understand that this guy just wants an opportunity. Now, he could possibly get that against the Carolina Panthers on Friday. I think that, you got to set him up in order for him to succeed. Look, I don't expect for the top tier Cleveland Browns players to play, but you can at least add some offensive linemen out there that are going to start this year so this guy can get some really quality reps if you really take him serious. I'm going to be looking at how the Cleveland Browns approach preseason game number 1. Are they just going to throw some third string players out there and, have Shedeur Sanders just running for his life and having them falling all on the ground? So some of these people that don't like the young guy in the first place can feel validated about their arguments that he's not a quarterback, NFL caliber quarterback. Are you going to do that, or are you going to give him the ammunition to show that he has what it takes to be a starting quarterback in the league? That remains to be seen. I just hope that they give this man a fair shot because he has a lot of talent, no doubt about that.